Hello again. So now I want to move on to chapter 4 or session 4, which is about business level strategy. Before I get into that, I want to ask you, what's corporate level strategy? Do you understand what corporate level strategy is all about? What does it actually mean? Well, corporate level strategy is about deciding from a corporate point of view, from the board of directors point of view, what businesses are we going to be in? So for example, if you take Indonesian airline, Garuda Airlines. Garuda Airlines has an airline business which is about moving passengers from point A to point B. But that's only one part of their business. The question then is, will Garuda expand their corporate involvement in the travel industry? So for example, it might start a new business called cargo business. So moving cargo from point A to point B as well as moving passengers. But cargo is a separate kind of business than passenger business. And then if you look at airlines, from an airline point of view, who's going to do the purchasing and maintenance of those aircraft that Garuda operates? So there's a maintenance business that might start up as well. Then there's also a training business. You have to train pilots and you have to train cabin crew. So you may end up with a training company within Garuda as well. And then you may have a holiday company that Garuda has a holiday section which deals with passengers who are interested in going on vacation using Garuda Airlines as part of their transport to and from their destination. So the travel industry, so all of these are separate businesses. So you have the airline business with passengers, you have cargo business, you have purchasing and maintenance of aircraft, you have training of cabin crew and pilots, etc. And then you have a holiday or vacation dimension to the business as well. So these are all separate businesses. Yes, they're related to each other, but they're separate. And so from a corporate level strategy, the board of directors will get involved in making these decisions as to which of these businesses they're going to operate, in addition to Garuda Airlines as a passenger aircraft. Then business level strategy is subordinate to all of that. And business level strategy represents integrated and coordinated set of actions that are taken to exploit core competencies and gain a competitive advantage. So to be specific, strategies are purposeful, they proceed and the taking of actions to which they apply and demonstrate a shared understanding of the firm's vision and mission. So we go back to what we talked about yesterday with vision and mission. So business level strategy is about supporting the vision and mission of the company, but from its business level point of view, as opposed to a corporate level point of view. The corporate decides what kind of businesses are we going to be in. The business level strategy tells us what kind of approach are we going to take in each of those businesses. So if we're going to look at business level strategy, there are two main kinds. The first one is what we call cost leadership strategy. In other words, the strategy is based upon price. We try to keep the price as low as possible to gain a competitive advantage. So if you look at ASUS and Acer computers, for example, these are relatively inexpensive computers. And people will buy those who are students, who are small businesses, etc. But if you're into a large business environment, then you might want to have a differentiation strategy. So for example, a differentiation strategy will apply to car ownership for Mercedes, BMWs, Lexus motor cars, etc. So these would be differentiation strategy. They're very different from the kind of strategy, cost leadership strategy that you would have with Volkswagen, or you would have with Toyota Camry, or Toyota, small Toyota cars, etc., or Mitsubishi cars, or Honda cars, etc. So the cost leadership strategy is about essentially a price differentiation. How can we compete on price with others? And differentiation is how can we compete on characteristics of our product or service which are different from other companies' products and services. So here we're looking at who do we serve, what kind of customers. The kind of customer who buys a Toyota Corolla is not the kind of customer who buys a Mercedes or a Lexus motor car. So what are the customer's needs and how can those be satisfied? Well, you can't satisfy a Mercedes customer with a Toyota Corolla car because it doesn't have the power, it doesn't have the prestige, it doesn't have the space, it doesn't have the engine size, etc., that a Mercedes has. So if you have a customer who's used to driving Mercedes, then you're not going to satisfy their needs with a smaller vehicle. And then how are these needs satisfied and what strategies are adopted by the company in order to do so? So a company that's involved in differentiation strategy is really dealing with a smaller number of select customers, whereas the cost leadership strategy is dealing with the broad masses of people. So if you look at it from a motorcyclist's point of view, so if you're driving a Honda Wave motorcycle right now, it's 110cc or 125cc, but that's very different than a Harley Davidson, which could be 750cc or 1000cc. But the Harley Davidson customer is not the kind of customer who's going to buy a Honda Wave. And the Honda Wave customer is not going to buy a Harley Davidson. They don't have that kind of cash. And so again, if you're looking at a Honda motorcycle or a Suzuki motorcycle, etc., these are all going to be competing on price. If you're talking about up to about 150cc, they're all going to compete on price. But when you get into the bigger motorcycles, the Harley Davidson, the BMW motorcycles, etc., the Ducatis, all of these are going to be much more expensive and they're going to attract a different kind of customer. So cost leadership is one kind of business level strategy. It's all based upon price. And the differentiation strategy is based upon what are characteristics that differentiate this product or service from our competitors' products and services. And customers who are interested in dealing with the differentiation strategy will be willing to pay more. They can afford to pay more, and so they will pay more. So if you have pens, for example, and you have a big biro, these are very cheap plastic biros, writing instruments. And students will use those until the end. But if you want to buy a Mont Blanc pen, it's going to cost you $400 or $500. So a person who buys a Mont Blanc pen is not the kind of customer who is going to buy a big pen. And likewise, the customer who buys a big pen is not going to be a customer who is going to be interested suddenly in buying a Mont Blanc because they can't afford it. So one is a pen that costs a few hundred rupiah or 1,000 rupiah, whereas the Mont Blanc is going to be $500, $600. Same thing with shoes. So if ladies are interested in straightforward shoes, they'll use Bata shoes and so on, etc., the cheaper models. But if you're into fancy shoes, then you're going to get into the Manola shoes, Jimmy Choo shoes, etc., which all cost minimum of $1,000 a pair. Well, the kind of customer who goes for those kind of shoes is not the customer who's going to go for Bata shoes. So there's a difference. And so this is the essential differentiation between two business level strategies. Now, when you're looking at those different strategies and you're looking at how businesses operate, you can think in terms of outreach. How can you continuously talk about connecting and accessing customers of different kinds? So what kind of customer segmentation will you have? Will you be focusing your products and services on, for example, teachers? They have certain needs, but are you going to be the same needs as, for example, nurses or doctors? Different kind of customer, different needs, etc., etc. Likewise, if you're dealing with young ladies who are very fashion conscious, they might want to spend a large portion of their income on clothes, etc. But that customer is not the same as the customer who's middle-aged or a married customer who has children. So the kind of customer that you have, female, who starts out, let's say, as a student, who's young, single, etc., they have certain kinds of needs. But those needs change dramatically as they get older, as they get a boyfriend, or as they get married, and further changes occur when they start having children. So how do you reach these different kinds of customer segments? And what are the strategies that you need to adopt in order to do so? And then you're looking at maintaining information on the type of customers you have. How rich and detailed is that information? What's your customer information feedback situation like? How well do you know your customer? Now, in the marketing world, they think about getting customers. In the customer relationship management world, they talk about 4 different things. One is getting customers. The second one is keeping those customers. The third one is growing that customer. So you're expanding their interest in purchasing more things. And lastly, you get the lifetime value. So for example, if I look at the students in my class right now, the young females in the class are the best type of customer to be focusing on. The reason for that is because as a young single lady, you will have certain needs, and you will satisfy those needs as well as you can, mainly with less expensive products and services, because that's what you can afford. But as you have a steady boyfriend and you begin to cook for that boyfriend, then your grocery bill increases enormously. So instead of buying food for one person, you're now buying food for yourself and your boyfriend. And when you get married to that boyfriend, you're going to be buying a different kind of quality of food and quantity of food than you might have had as a single person. Then as you have children, the food bill goes up again, because now you need to buy more food and different kinds of food to suit different age groups of children. So again, you're looking at differentiation in your customer segment. So you go from a single woman to a woman who's got a steady boyfriend, to a woman who's married, to a woman who has children. And each of those are different. But what's interesting is that women tend to be very reliable customers. They're very loyal customers. Wherever they do their shopping on a weekly basis, they go to the same shop week after week after week. And as they do so, you're getting their lifetime value. So it's not about, asking your husband to pick up some milk on the way home from work or on his way home from university. He will go to the first shop that sells milk. He probably doesn't even know what the price of milk is. But he'll go to the first shop he can find that sells milk, and that's all he's interested in. The wife, on the other hand, or the girlfriend, on the other hand, she knows exactly where to buy milk. She knows how much it's going to cost, and she knows which shop gives her the best price. So she's a more reliable customer and a loyal customer, because she'll go back and do her shopping for milk or groceries at the same place every time. Likewise, if she has a bank account, she would probably have a bank account in the same bank as her mother had. And she would probably keep that bank account in that same bank over her lifetime. And her children will begin to open bank accounts in the same bank as well. Now the husband, on the other hand, he moves banks from time to time. If he gets a better deal from another bank, he will shift his account over to that bank. So male customers tend not to be as loyal as female customers. Now a difference occurs when you're talking about things like, for example, motorcycles, where if man buys a good motorcycle, he's happy with the service he got from that shop, he will go back and buy his next motorcycle from the same place. Likewise, if he's buying a car, he'll probably buy a car in the same place as he bought the last one, if he's satisfied with the after-sale service that he got, etc. The woman, on the other hand, she's doing this for everything that she purchases. If she has certain clothes, she goes to a certain clothing shop. If she wants to buy jackets, she'll go to a shop that she always buys her jacket. She wants to buy shoes, she'll always go to a shop that sells the kind of shoes that she likes. But it's interesting that when you go shopping, there are 3 things that you have to pay attention to. The first thing is price. How accessible is this product? Can you afford it? Have you got enough money to buy it? The second element that you're looking for is quality. What is the quality of the products you're going to buy? Now, when I was young, quality was an extra. You had to pay extra if you wanted quality. In today's world, quality is almost a given. So if you buy a cheap mobile phone or you buy a very expensive mobile phone, you can still make phone calls. There's no big difference between the less expensive and the more expensive mobile phone in terms of quality. There may be in terms of the pixels and so on, if you're looking at it from a camera point of view, that's true. But essentially, everything we buy nowadays is functional, it is quality, and it has an ability to do what we want it to do. And the third dimension that we use in shopping is variety. What variety are we going to get when we go shopping? So if you were walking down the high street and you saw shops that sell shoes, but they only sold black and white shoes, you probably wouldn't even bother going in the door. You want to see a shop that sells many different kinds of shoes and different colour shoes. What's interesting is when you go into the shop that sells all these different varieties, the chances are pretty high you'd come out with black or brown shoes. So you won't go into a shop that sells only black or brown shoes, but you will in fact buy most of your shoes are black or brown. So likewise, if you're buying a dress or you're buying t-shirts, if you see a shop that sells, single style t-shirts or one colour t-shirts or two colour t-shirts, chances are you won't even go in. But if you see a shop that sells a whole range of t-shirts, you will go in there. However, you will still only buy the usual colour t-shirt that you normally buy. So our affiliation and our attitude towards shopping tends to be similar throughout the world. We are all looking for three different dimensions. We're looking for price, we're looking for quality, and we're looking for variety. And if we can get the three of those, we'll be interested in buying. Now, as a strategic thinker, you have to think in terms of your customer. So what are the three things that your customer is looking for? So they're looking for price, they're looking for quality, and they're looking for variety. And this is how Walmart, as a company, is the largest retailer in the world. But what makes Walmart so successful as a retailer is because they do have low prices every day. If you go into a Walmart shop, you'll see signs all over the shop, low prices every day. The second thing you'll find in Walmart is there's a lot of quality products all throughout the store. So you'll go there because you know you're going to get quality. And the last reason you'll go to Walmart is because of variety. It has a huge range of different kinds of products that you're interested in. So whether you buy them or not doesn't matter, but you're interested in seeing what's available. So price, quality, and variety are things that you're going to continue to look for. Now, the purpose of a business level strategy is choosing to perform activities differently or to perform different activities than rivals is the essence of a business level strategy. So why is cost leadership an important part of that? Well, if you take Southwest Airlines in the United States, it was the first low-cost airline of a global size, which attracted a lot of customers. Now the big airlines are beginning to adopt a low-cost strategy as well. So for example, in Singapore Airlines you have Silk Air, in Thai Airlines you have Thai Smile. All of these are subsidiaries of the main airline, but they're low cost. So they're providing a different kind of service than the other ones. Now if you look at AirAsia, it's a low-cost airline and it only sells low-cost airline seats. It doesn't sell high-level seats, so when you get on a flight with AirAsia, you're not expecting to get a big meal. Whereas if you go on a flight with Garuda or you go on a flight with Singapore Air or Thai Airways, you are expecting a meal. Now likewise, Ryanair in Europe, it's an Irish airline, but it's the dominant airline in the low-cost industry in Europe. And if you look at AirAsia, one of the symbols that you see written along the side of an AirAsia airline is, now everyone can fly. Now everyone can fly because of the low cost. So this model of cost leadership is a very dominant model and it's spreading throughout many different sectors of the business. So whether it's in low-cost shopping, as in Walmart, or low-cost airlines, as in AirAsia and so on, you're dealing with this low-cost strategy. Cost leadership strategy. But when you're dealing with the business level strategy, which is differentiation, then you're talking about a different kind of company. So if you're selling Lamborghinis or you're selling Harley Davidsons, you are dealing with a different kind of customer than the kind of customer that's going to buy a Volkswagen or a Toyota Corolla or a Honda Wave. And then you can have focused cost leadership and you can have focused differentiation. A focused cost leadership could be, for example, dealing with a specialized kind of motorcycle. So you might want to have a Ducati or another kind of motorcycle, which is on the lower cost of the motorcycle range, but it's more specialized because you're looking at a specialized type of vehicle. Likewise, if you're looking at a focus differentiation, you might like to buy a Lamborghini, or you would like to buy a Lotus motor car instead of a Mercedes or a BMW. So there's still differentiation strategy, but it's the focus differentiation strategy. So if we're looking at types of business level strategies, differentiation is dealing with 5 different factors. One of those is the rivalry against existing competition. How are you competing with your competitors in the marketplace? What's your bargaining power as a buyer, as a customer? What's your bargaining power as a supplier? What are your potential entrants into the marketplace? And what product substitutes are you going to have to compete with? These are the 5 forces that we talked about from Porter's 5 forces earlier. And these all impact very much on a differentiation level strategy. Thank you.